How's it going today? Today we're going to make a video on cryptocurrency and should you buy it? Do I buy it? And maybe some good stock picks that can, even if you don't want to buy Bitcoin, you think it's too risky, but you want to maybe dip your toes in, maybe an axe or a pickaxe and shovel approach. But anyway, make sure you like and subscribe. I do videos on free stocks a month. I review them, talk about the stock market, hopefully make you guys some money. But anyway, we're going to jump right into it today on cryptocurrency. And basically what I did and how I'm going to format this video is basically I'm going to go why you should buy it, why you shouldn't, and I'm probably going to go back and forth because I don't want to like indoctrinate you in one way. You know, if I keep going down the list and say this why you should buy it, this why you should buy it, I'm going to go back and forth. But anyway, hopefully it makes it easier for you guys to understand it, why I bought Bitcoin. I bought it a year ago when it was around 9,000 and it's done well. I mean, but it'll get wiped out maybe one of these days, maybe not. But anyway, and I go give some stock picks on maybe some kind of like a approach not to buy it, but you buy it, you know. I mean, but anyway, we're gonna go right into it. Why you should buy it? Well, it's the simplest thing is it's going up. I mean, this might sound kind of silly. Why would you buy something just because it's going up? Well, I mean, that's normally a pretty good strategy. A lot of people will tell you it's not, but really, it really is. I mean, I talked about this on my channel. I mean, do I buy stocks at an all-time low, at an all-time high? I mean, normally I buy them at an all-time high, and normally they do well, because normally those companies that you're buying at an all-time high are normally well. I mean, I know this is cryptocurrency and stuff like that, and it's a little different to evaluate, which I can eventually get into it, why I don't like it. But, I mean, that's normally why it is, you know. I mean, you know, it's kind of what's in, you know. So, basically, if you think you can buy it, now, I always recommend with crypto, and I've always said it, only put in what you can afford to lose. Because now we're going to get into the reason why not to. Because, basically, this is why I always recommend only put in what you can afford to lose. So let's say you can only lose $500. Well, don't put $500. But, you know, because it could go to basically zero. I mean, this thing, because basically how do you evaluate Bitcoin? You know, I mean, think about it. You can't evaluate it. There's no metric. It's like valuating gold. You really can't. I mean, think about it. Now, let's say real estate. What I'm talking about valuation is basically a discounted cash flow kind of approach. Basically, you see a piece of real estate. You know, I mean, I'm going to make it very simple. I'm going to make simple numbers. The numbers are probably not real, I mean, and everything. But let's say you buy a house for, you know, 100, or, you know, your payment's $100. You buy a house and your payment's $100. That's one hell of a deal. And you can rent it out for, let's say, $600. You got one hell of a deal. You know, some guy just gave it away. He didn't know nothing about real estate. And you got your payment of $100, right? Well, I mean, how much money do you make a month if you rent it out for $600? Well, $500. So you're in the green, right? And let's say this is a golden house, nothing wrong with it, and there's no inflation. It's a fairy tale world, and I'm trying to kind of give you the thing of how to evaluate. Basically, $500 every month. So basically, $500. You add it out for 12 months, and that could give you what? You know, $5,000. Let's say you made $5,000 on $5,000. It'd be almost $6,000. You made $6,000. Okay, 10 years from now, you can make $60,000, and then you add out 30 years, the whole lifetime of the asset that you're going to hold it. Let's say you hold it for 30 years, and it doesn't go up in value. It just sits there for 30 years. I mean, that's kind of odd, but you still get the cash flow. So basically, in 30 years, you basically get 6,000 times 30. Well, I mean, so 6,000 times 10, that's 60. That's 60,000. 60,000, 120,000, and then basically 100 and what? I'm not very good at math. 100 and what? 40, 100 and $180,000. $180,000. So essentially, couldn't you say the house is least worth $180,000? It's least worth that because I can rent it out and make that much money. In this perfect example, I mean, when they do this in real life, they you know, they account inflation, appreciate on the asset and all that. I'm not saying go out and do this and buy real estate. You're an expert now. No, you know, and you can do the same thing with Apple. Let's say Apple sells 100 cell phones, and you get $10 for each one. I mean, Apple, you know, just make an example. I mean, it can $100, that'd be $1,000. And let's say 10% of it, they give back to shareholders. So 10%, you do the same thing. You get $100 from every single cell phone every single 10 they sell, you get $100. And they pay that all on dividends. Well, at least the company's at least worth, 100 times 12 times 30, 40 years, how long you hold it. Well, at least the company's at least worth that. This company's, and that, so that's how you evaluate these assets. It gets a little more complicated, but that's basically discounted cash flows. You can look that up, and that's basically how you evaluate these companies, and that's why I don't look at PEs. I look at the cash flow, add it out, then subtract it back. But anyway, that's what it is. In Bitcoin, can you do that? No, you can just look at the price. You can just look at the chart, and that has nothing to do with the value. That's just the price you pay. That's not actually what you're getting. But anyway, now, why you should buy it? Well, this is a big upside. This could be the next currency in our market. This thing could be huge. A lot of people, when it was 1,000 or 9,000, this is why I think everybody should own it. Because the upside is too big to ignore. It's just too big. This could be the cryptocurrency could be the currency that everybody uses. Everybody could use it in the whole world. Think about it. If we got one currency, now I'm not saying it will happen, but it could, 30 years or so. This thing could be massive. This thing could be, you think 60,000 is a lot for Bitcoin, but this thing could go 1 million or 2 million, 3 million, 10 million for Bitcoin. This thing could be massive. So that's why I think that you should buy it. That's why I basically said to buy it, and that's why I said hell with it. I was reading, it was actually Robert Kiyosaki that was talking about it, and if I could find a link on that, I could drop it in the description. And he talks, it was like an hour-long interview, and he did this crypto guy. And that's why I was like, you know what? This thing does have a lot of upside. And I said, to hell with it, and bought it. After watching that, I'm like, man, this Bitcoin, it can go up a lot higher. And especially because you don't have to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy just a half of it or whatever you want to invest in it. I use Robinhood to buy it and everything like that. And so that's why I think everybody should buy Bitcoin. Because it has a massive upside. But now why you shouldn't, it could go to zero. It could be worthless one of these days. Like I said, it doesn't produce anything. So you're basically betting that somebody's going to pay more for it. And why would somebody pay more? Well, it's the only currency in this, so everybody has to buy it. And, well, it goes up, So that's why you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. I'm not saying sell everything. Put all your money in Bitcoin. And, that's what it could go to zero. So, basically, there's a big upside. This is a massive upside. You think it's high at 60,000. Well, a lot of people were thinking when I was buying it at 9,000. Everybody was like, oh, man, you're crazy. But, those people didn't watch that video I was watching. I was like, man, this thing could be massive. This thing could be the biggest investment of the 2020s. It could be. Stocks might just go flat, and cryptocurrency could be massive. It could be big. I'm talking big. It might take but anyway, or it could go to zero. But anyway, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to give some stocks that could profit off of it. And these are pretty easy. Basically, Square. I think Square is a good stock because guess what? It owns Bitcoin. So basically, if you own Square, you own a little bit of Bitcoin. So basically, Square is a stock that does Bitcoin or a lot of the fintech. And stuff like that. That's a great stock. PayPal, another one. There's two that you can basically buy if you don't want to buy Bitcoin because they own a lot of Bitcoin. I think Tesla is, but I wouldn't be buying that for solely of it. I think it's went up too much per se. I've been saying that for a while now, but I really don't see especially a trillion. Just like I said, once it hits $1 trillion market cap, I don't really think the thing's going to double, be 2 trillion, 3 trillion. Maybe not. I think that's kind of a stretch. Like I say, I look for the ones that can go up 10x or 15x or 30x. the next, basically the Shopify, but the next stock that you can buy that I think has some big upside is Nvidia. Nvidia does crypto mining, and they basically, what crypto mining is, it's basically, it keeps Bitcoin secure. So if there's more Bitcoin or more cryptocurrencies and people mine it, guess what? Crypto, they have to buy the computer chips and they get it from Bitcoin. And that actually, in Nvidia, and that actually crashed the stock actually in 2018 when Bitcoin crashed, and it created some inventory problems, and that's the thing with them. But anyway, I mean, you can see that's how it is. So that's why I recommend to buy these stocks at where they are. And that's my opinion on crypto. So if anybody asks me, you can ask me a comment where if you own it or you don't. But I believe that everybody should put a little bit in their portfolio because I think it's a massive upside. I'm not saying how much you should buy it. I only put a small percentage of my portfolio in it. Like I said, I don't own the full Bitcoin. You can buy half like I did, or maybe 1%, or maybe you just put $500 in it. It's up to you. I wouldn't go 20, 30% of my portfolio in it, but maybe 5, 2, 3%. Why not? You could just lose 3% of your portfolio. Could be a lot, could be not. I mean, it just depends. Maybe you only want to put $1,000 and that's, you're a multimillionaire and whatever. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. Like and subscribe. I do more videos. I probably won't talk about crypto anymore. That's kind of my thing. I can leave a link in the description. Hopefully I can find that video of Robert Kiyosaki when he was talking about it. But you can just look him up. Just type in Robert Kiyosaki Bitcoin and it should come up. It was a pretty popular video. It came out, I think, maybe a year ago, 2019, and he was talking about, I think it was 2020 because he was talking about COVID too. But anyway, and that's when I watched that video. I was like, I need to get on this Bitcoin, and I bought it off his recommendation. And I like Robert Kiyosaki. He's the Rich Dad Poor Dad, if you ever heard that. But anyway, I kind of made this video longer than I wanted to. But anyway, thank you for watching, and see you on the next video. Thank you.